Okay, we're finishing up our get zero, our little zero game. What we want to do is do the move right, move left, and flip. In order to do that, it's going to be really easy if I know where the zero position is. So I'm going to do this get zero position done first. What we want to do is we want to look at the first element in the list and see if it's a zero. If it is, we'll return back zero, that it's in the zero position. If not, we'll just keep going through the list to the 1 position, to the 2 position, to the 3 position, and see if we can find the zero. If it is, we'll just return back that position. So the easiest way to do this is to iterate with a for loop. So for int I equals 0, start at the beginning of the list, and we'll make this work in case you want to do more than just the 10 values. So we'll go to numbers.length. Remember, numbers.length does not have the open and close parentheses this time like the string length does, which really always confuses me. I'm going to get that mixed up. So now I want to see if numbers at that position, at that I position, if that is equal to a 0, then I have found that position. That position happens to be at position I. So I'm going to return back I as the position that it's in. If it makes it all the way through the loop, which it won't in this case, then it will just return back a -1 saying it didn't find a 0. In our case, there's always going to be a 0 in our list. So now that I have that get zero, so this is called a sequential search, by the way. When you search through a list from the beginning to the end, you're just searching it in order for a particular value, in our case is 0. Now that we have that get zero position, let's just compile it, make sure it works. Yay, so far. We're going to do this get move right. And all we're going to do is we want to check that we can move right. If the 0 is in position 9 and we move right, it's going to go to that position 10 and fall off of our chart. So we want to say let's find the 0 first. First we need to know where the 0 is. So I'm going to say int 0 equals get 0 position. Now if that 0 is less than numbers, numbers dot length -1. I want to do that -1 in there, so that way it's the last position in the list. So if it's less than that, then all I need to do is swap the 0, whatever's in the 0 position, with whatever's to the right of it. So I'm going to say swap the 0 with whatever is to the right of the 0, so 0 plus 1. And that will take whatever's in this position and whatever's next to it and swap them places. Okay, with that, the move left is going to be almost exactly the same. We have to find the 0, but this time, instead of seeing if the 0 is less than numbers.length, I want to make sure that it's greater than 0. If it's at the 0 position, I can't move it any more to the left. So if it's greater than 0, I'm going to swap it, the 0 with the 1 to the left, which happens to be the 0 minus 1 position. And that is our moved left. Okay, flip is going to do the same thing, but I need to check both to make sure it's not at position 0 and it's not at position 9. I got to check both sides. So if 0 is greater than 0 and 0 is less than numbers, numbers dot length -1. If that is the case, then I'm going to swap either side of the 0. So I'm going to say 0 minus 1 and 0 plus 1 on this side. There we go. So move right, move left, flip should now be working. We're just going to compile it and make sure. Once again, I forgot to find the 0 position. Finding the 0 position is one we've done several times already, so I forget that we haven't done it. Okay, so now that I found the 0 position, we can check either side of them. Okay, this will have done everything. It should now move to the right. it should move to the left. It should flip either side. If we're over here, it can't move any more to the left, so it just stays there. Okay, we're going to do the last one this time, the last method. And what we want to do is we want to see if the values are in order. So basically, if 0 is at the 0 position, and if 1 is at the 1 position, and 2 is at the 2 position, we'll return true. Otherwise, we'll return false. Now on this one, it's actually easier to determine if they're not in order. So I'm going to make our default to be return true. Now, I'm going to iterate through our array for int I equals 0, I is less than numbers dot length, I plus plus. And if I find that numbers at position I is not equal to its position value, which happens to be I, then I know that they're not in order, and I'll return back false. If I make it all the way through the list and I've never returned false, then it will return back true that they are in order. So theoretically, this game is now done. I'm not going to play it to make sure that works. I'm assuming my logic is correct, but you should make sure it works. And that is it with our 0 game. I hope we learned a little bit about iterating through arrays, and we've learned about the for each loop, and just learning about position values and swapping. And we will see you next time in class.